Hello everyone, I am Ranganatha J, Assistant Professor GFGC Tipto. Today we are going to discuss Departmental Accounting chapter, which is in Financial Accounting 2, the syllabus prescribed by the Tumkur University for the first BCom second semester students. So before going to the concepts, let me understand what is departmental undertaking. I will show a simple model of a departmental undertaking. It's a retail company. It runs its business through the three different departments in it. Number one, electronic departments. Number two, textile department. Number three, footwear departments. So, after seeing this, what did you understand? What do you understand? What is departmental undertaking? So let me move on to the meaning. Departmental undertaking, it is a large organization or a big organization. It has different departments. It has different sections. In that section, it deals with the different line of products or the different line of activities or a different services. Understand? So let us recall it. Departmental undertaking, it is a large company or a concern. It has number of departments. Each department consists of a deals with specific product or a particular line of activities or a services. Let us know what is the objectives behind the preparing of the departmental accounting. Number one, to enable to make the comparison between the departments, means a company manager need to understand how the departments are running, how their performance is. So our performance ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಷನ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಂಬರ್ ಟು, ಟು ಎನೇಬಲ್ ಟು ಮೆಜರ್ ದಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಈಚ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. So to analyze the performance of each department, we need to prepare the departmental undertakings, departmental accountings. Next, to enable to management to take decision regarding the extent of investment or disinvestment. So management will take decision on the basis of the performance of the different departments. By preparing the departmental accounting, they will come to understand the performance of the different departments. On that basis, they will decide whether to invest the money in the department or to disinvestment. Now, next one, to provide the basis for remuneration to the employees of various department. Here, employees are working in different department. For fixing the salaries to them, we need to know the performance of the department. By understanding the performance of the department, we will fix the remuneration to the various employees. Next, there are two methods for recording or maintaining the departmental accounts. Number one, singular method. Number two, columnar method. In singular method, each department's accounts will be prepared separately. Departmental accounts of each department will be prepared separately. We are not going to stress on it. We will stress on the columnar method, second one. Columnar method means each department accounts and information will be recorded with the different columns, with each column. Next, steps and procedures in preparation of departmental accounting. Number one, preparation of departmental trading account. Number two, preparation of departmental profit and loss account. Number three, preparation of general profit and loss account. Number 4, preparation of profit and loss appropriation account. Number 5, preparation of balance sheet. These are the steps of the procedure in preparation of departmental accounting. Let us understand one by one. Number 1, preparation of departmental trading account. Trading account will be prepared related to each department when some items are available in the given problem. Opening stock should be given, purchases of each department should be given, likewise closing stock should be given, direct expenses should be given, likewise sales information should be given. Then only we can prepare the trading account of each department. So for preparing the departmental trading account, we need to understand different basis for allotment or segregation of the direct expenses. So here is a simple chart. It shows item of direct expenses and the basis. Look at the expenses: freight charges and carriage inwards, import duty, octroi. These are the direct expenses which are comes under a trading account. These will be apportioned on the basis of the net purchases. Net purchases means gross purchases minus sales returns. That means purchases minus sales outwards. Next step, second one, preparation of departmental profit and loss account. Whatever the information are recorded in trading account, by that we will get the general gross profit that will be transferred to credit side of the profit and loss account. Then we will prepare the departmental profit and loss account. For preparation of departmental profit and loss account, we need to understand different apportion basis for apportioning incomes and expenses comes under different departments. Let us understand apportionment of various departmental income in profit and loss account. This simple chart it will explain you how different items of income should be apportioned in the departmental profit and loss account. Look here, item of incomes. Item of income, that is discount received, reserved for discount on creditors. This should be apportioned on the basis of the net purchases. Net purchases means purchases minus sales returns, that we know previously. Commission earned on sales, which the commission we earned on sales, that is apportioned on the basis of the net sales. That means sales minus sales inwards. Next, apportionment of indirect expenses. Indirect expenses are like this. This is the chart which explains you the basis of allocation or apportionment of different indirect expenses. Here, look here. This is the first expenses on purchases. For instance, carriage inward, freight, duty, etc. These expenses are to be apportioned on the basis of the ratio of departmental net purchases. So here, while considering the net purchases, we should ignore the inter-department purchases. Next, expenses on selling. For instance, as selling commission, bad debts, discount allowed, advertisement, carriage outward. So these expenses should be apportioned on the basis of net sales of various departments. Here we have to ignore the interdepartmental sales for calculation of net sales ratio. Next, expenses on land and building. For example, rents, rates, depreciation and repairs we are going to charge on the land and building. These expenses can be apportioned on the basis of the space occupied by each department. Whatever the space or the space or the place occupied by each department. On that ratio we are going to distribute or allocate these expenses. Next, expenses on machinery. For instance, depreciation and repairs which is occurred on and keeping good of the machinery. So these expenses can be allocated on the basis of the value of machineries of each department. Next, expenses on electricity charges, for instance lighting and heating. These are allocated. Actually, this lighting and heating expenses also comes under direct expenses if the same charges are charged on the office expenses, charged on the office lightings and electricity purposes. These expenses will be distributed or allocated on the meter reading or points of the space occupied each department. If meter reading is given in the problem, then we will allot these expenses on the meter reading basis. If the points of each department is given in the problem, then we will allot these expenses on the basis of the points of each department. If the space if these information are not given, then we will go with the space occupied by each department. Next, expenses of insurance. If insurance premium paid by the concern, then these expenses can be distributed on the basis of the stock value or the cost of machinery or actual premium. So whichever if the stock value is given, first we will go with the stock value. Then if stock value is not given, the cost of machinery we will consider for the allocation of these expenses. Expenses on welfare and canteen recreation. So these are the expenses which is purely related to the employees. So these expenses can be allocated on the basis of the employees are working in each department. Next, expenses on workman's compensation. So these expenses can be allotted or apportioned on the basis of the wages of each department. Next, salary of factory manager. Salary of factory manager. These expenses, whatever the salary given to the factory manager, that will be apportioned on the basis of the time devoted by him for each department. Next, non-department expenses. If any non-departmental expenses which cannot be distributed, those will be charged to the general P&L account. So this is all about theoretical background of the departmental accounting. In tomorrow class, we will discuss problems on the basis of these theoretical backgrounds. Thank you, Nanda.